Here I am back outside. It is blazing outside, but it's not as bad as it was. So I decided to sneak in and record this. But we are here to talk about the NFC South. For those of you that don't know, the NFC South consists of the New Orleans Saints, the Atlanta Falcons. There's a bug. There's a bug. The NFC South consists of the New Orleans Saints, the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And one thing about the NFC South that is actually going to be interesting this year is to see how things are going to evolve and to see what happens. Mainly because I really liked what teams did in the draft. I really liked what Tampa Bay did in the draft. I really loved what the Atlanta Falcons did in the draft. Although I feel like the Atlanta Falcons find ways to piss me off every year, I appreciate what they did in the draft, and I kind of feel like I know what they're trying to do. And then the Carolina Panthers, the Carolina Panthers are going to do what the Carolina Panthers do. Maybe this is their year. I don't really know. I do think that it'll be interesting to see what happens with Bryce Young this year, because I think he's going to come into his own a little bit, and we will be able to see in year 3 what that really means for him. So I'm super excited to see Bryce Young. And then let's just keep it real. It is the New Orleans Saints. And I don't know what to do with the New Orleans Saints. Honestly, I don't even know who the quarterback is for the New Orleans Saints. Now, do I know who the quarterback is by names? Yes, I know who the guys are that can potentially play quarterback. However, I don't trust the New Orleans Saints. I don't know what they have going on. I just don't know. I think they're in a full rebuild. And so I don't think I need to trust them right now. I think right now it is going to depend on that organization, that ownership, that head coach to really figure out what is happening in New Orleans right now. But at the end of the day, I'm not really sure to do with New Orleans, and I'm not really sure to do with what to do with the Carolina Panthers. So those are the two teams I'm not sure about. Tampa Bay has been reigning supreme in that division. And then there's the Atlanta Falcons. And I don't know, just something about the Falcons always gets me excited. However, let's be real here. The thing about the Falcons is I can't forget the Super Bowl, so that's always going to come back and haunt me. I also can't forget that they had Kirk Cousins already, and then they went and drafted another quarterback. I don't really know what to make of that. I don't really trust them, but the truth of the matter is it doesn't matter if I trust them or not. They just have to go win games. And so I do think the Atlanta Falcons can win games. They're in close games, they're in tight games, so all of those things. That is my high-level overview of what I feel about this division. It's a very interesting division, and some of the ways that things are going to happen this year are going to be very interesting. The New Orleans Saints need to go get Shedeur Sanders. I already tweeted this out, but I just wanted to make my claim very clear. I think the New Orleans Saints need to go take a draft pick, and I think they need to go offer it to Cleveland, and I think they need to go get Shedeur Sanders. They screwed it up by not getting him in the draft, and I think they need him right now. Shedeur Sanders can be the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints in 2025, and they can just build around him. I think it's time. I think they need to go get him, and I wouldn't be real with myself if I did not say that in this video, so I needed to step in and say that the New Orleans Saints need to go get Shedeur Sanders. I am staking my claim. Do I think they're going to do it? No, because I don't think the New Orleans Saints, in my opinion, do a lot of things that make sense, but that's just my personal opinion, and I'll just move on to the next thing. Like I will say in all of my videos that you'll probably get tired of me for saying this, is the videos are going to release by order of way that I think they're going to finish in the division. So the last place team is going to be 4th. The 3rd place team is going to be Tuesday. The 2nd place team is going to be on Wednesday. And then the team I think is going to win the division is going to be on Thursday. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. Don't forget to make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. And if you think about it, turn on those notification bells. And maybe if you want to make me really happy, leave me a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think about this video. Before these clips roll, I need to thank every single person that came and spoke with me about their team, about their fandom, and all of those things. Every single one of them, their information will be tagged in the description section below. So if you're interested in getting in touch with that person, I will tag their channels and all of their socials in their actual episode description. I will promise you that. I will also tag it in this video as well. So without further ado, let me roll these beautiful clips for the people in the NFC South.
History is forever changed with that pick, which if you would have went to New Orleans, this would be a whole different conversation right now.
Yeah.
So I understand that part. Like if Tyler Shook is Kellen Moore's guy, not that I've had time to marinate on it because you saw my raw reaction. I'm okay with that, but I still, just me as a silly fan, I'm like, there's no way that teams were rushing to draft Tyler Shook in the 2nd
Absolutely
round.
no way anybody was rushing.
And I'm not a Shedeur Sanders advocate, like going to die on the hill that Shedeur Sanders is going to be this huge star. But I mean, you just can't tell me that Tyler Shook has more potential than Shedeur Sanders. If he does, at the end of the day, if it works out with Tyler Shook was incredible, great. Again, pull up the old video of me reacting. I'm stupid. I'll give you thank God social media and YouTube wasn't around in 2006. because when we signed Drew Brees, I was
You're
disappointed.
livid.
I was
Yeah.
mad. Now, give me some credit. We didn't know that Reggie Bush was going to be at number 2. Everybody assumed Reggie Bush in that draft that year was going number 1. So I didn't have any thought that Reggie Bush would actually possibly be available.
That's a really good point.
At number 2. But
the running back room we always highlight with Bijan Robinson.
Oh,
yeah, and I love Bijan Robinson, but I don't think Tyler Algier gets enough credit. I think he's probably a starter on a lot of teams.
Okay.
1,000 yards as a rookie, which a lot of people forgot about, and a sort of a battering ram, old school running back. But if given carries, you feel like he can get you in that 1,100 to 1,200 yard range. Is he as dynamic as Bijan? No, but he does give you a quality guy. And when he gets rolling, he's hard to stop. So I think that Tyler Algier doesn't get the credit. And I think the running back room is one of the better running back rooms in the National Football League with those two guys.
Yeah. Do you guys love Bijan or what?
For sure. Yeah. For sure. Right. We love Bijan.
Yeah.
Bijan is like a Swiss Army knife. He's like an and one football player. He does something with showing plus ability at least once or twice a game where you're like, well, did he just do that? Whether it's one hand catches, juke moves on the perimeter, juke moves in a phone booth. He has it all. And when he flashes power, it's like, okay, now he's just cheating. So, we love Bijan. And drafting a running back in the first round, you have to nail it. And I think the Falcons did.
Yeah, absolutely. I miss him. When you said, as soon as you said that, I was like, I think I know what he's going to do.
Because we run it. We run the NFC South. So one thing I'm always know is we're going to run the NFC South. Yes, Atlanta's getting a little scary. You know what I mean? It's our first game of the season this year is the Falcons at home in Falcons territory. So it's just like, but I feel good. I feel like nobody in the division can touch us. I feel like we have one of the best position groups in I'm going to say the league, but we'll talk to that when we get to that question. But that's how I feel about it. I wasn't disappointed. I felt real good. And I felt like we draft all of our draft picks that we had last year did amazingly well. And I feel like we've had 2 great seasons of drafts. And hopefully this previous draft that we just had, I feel like a couple surprises, but all the players that we got, we needed. And I like the way they approached the draft. So hopefully we can get that same production that we got out of our last draft class and this one to just add on. I think we're looking good. I really think we're looking good coming to the season. Because we really didn't lose much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
they get more notoriety, right? Because we had a really good offensive line, especially when you compare it to like the offensive lines that preceded it. But because we only won 5 games, I don't think
nobody cares.
They had enough success for like the league to take notice of how good they were. Right? Yeah. And and especially like early on when I remember, like fandom is so different now because like everybody's so focused on the quarterback, and it's like they treat quarterbacks like that personal Pokemon guys, right? And so early when Bryce struggled, they would you would have guys go back and like do film cut-ups like QB school. I'd like to see his like cut-ups of the games and stuff. And I remember like watching the games back, through their all 22 views and like Bryce had like these perfect pockets, but he still had tendencies that carried over from last year. He was still drifting backwards,
I'm going to say something here that I kind of feel, I don't know if it's going to be true. I think there might be 2 teams from the NFC South that make the playoffs this year. If there's 2 teams from the NFC South that make the playoffs this year, I won't be surprised. The problem with me saying that, sorry if you hear all the kids playing, the problem with me saying that is if you go look at all the teams that made it to the playoffs last year, that would mean that somebody from the NFC South is going to come in and take the place of one of those teams. And that could get interesting. That is my thoughts as of today. Just so we know also, today is May. So what I say in May 2025, I don't know if I should be held to account. If come August 2025, if I change my mind, I deserve the right to change my mind. However, I don't know if I will, because I honestly feel like the NFC South could make some waves this year. And I know it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy coming out of my mouth, but I feel that way. What the NFL did tell me with the NFC South schedule, is that there's a couple of teams that they think might make a run. There's a couple of teams that they think might be good, and so they're putting them on primetime games, and there's a lot of games that we're going to be able to see these said teams. You're going to know by who I release on Wednesday and Thursday who I'm talking about. So I just think the NFC South is going to be an interesting watch this year, or maybe they're just going to be that division that there is a tough out. I don't know. Something about them is screaming 2 teams will get into the playoffs, and if there's actually 2 teams that get into the playoffs from the NFC South, I think we're gearing up for an interesting football season as the wind starts to blow my hair and make my hair look all gorgeous and all those things. I am going to end this video here. Thank you for being here and watching all of this. For all of you that have been excited to see when your division is coming out, when your team is coming out, and all of those things, I very much appreciate you, because you all should know by now how much I love football, and you all should know by now how fun it is for me to talk to fans and for me to have these conversations and then to be able to release them into the world for other people to listen, for other people to learn, and for other people to kind of take some research and some notes that other teams are thinking about their teams. However, I will end this video here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.